Dead right. Staying on this, Pete Hegseth is with us. All right, you heard what I got to say, Pete. I'm sure you agree with me, but go ahead. Tell us more.
Stuart, it's worse. It's worse than that. I mean, this is the logical extent of the left. Unfortunately, I wrote a whole book about it called American Crusade, and it's happening faster than anyone thought. Because where it all starts with America is an evil place. America is a bad place. It was stolen from Native Americans and built on the back of slaves. And as a result, everything that has been done in our country is considered a sin and evil. You must erase it all. You're hearing calls to tear down the Washington Monument, tear down the Jefferson Monument. You talk about FDR to the left, he's not good enough because that was before the Civil Rights Act, and why didn't he do that? We all know America is a flawed place. No one's saying it's perfect. But what we recognize is we learn from our sins and mistakes and move forward together. What the left wants is to destroy America. So you go at the symbols. One of these most recent symbols, of course, is the police. Paw Patrol. I've watched more hours of Paw Patrol, Stuart, than I can imagine.
Me too.
Yeah. And you have. And even a subtle reminder that police are good people to the left is a residue of racism because, well, the police are racist and the whole entire country is racist, and therefore it all must be undone. That's how you end up with autonomous regions in Seattle, where the first thing they do, of course, is bring armed guards and build a wall and check IDs for people who can come in. Of course, the hypocrisy of the left knows no bounds.
Look, when does this stop? Who's going to stand up and say enough is enough? You know, when Paw Patrol starts getting criticized, you know that this is in the land of extremism. But I want to know which authority, which person, which official, which politician stands up and says, hey, knock this off. This is a great country, and our police force is vitally necessary, and we must have free speech. Who's standing up for free speech?
Well, thank God we have President Trump right now.
Yeah,
thank God.
I agree.
And I think 2020 will be the ultimate referendum. 2020 will be a pivot point in whether or not he gets 4 more years to fight back on this and truly surround himself with people that support a courageous agenda. He still has people apologizing and groveling like his chairman of the Joint Chiefs and others for every action he takes, all of which are meant to sort of make him look bad. Where does it stop? I don't know, Stuart. I thought about this morning. It's individual citizens mustering courage to stand up against the mob, following the lead of our president, who's willing to. But we're in a really, really bad spot because our corporations are captured, social media is captured, our education systems. I mean, what we're teaching kids in government schools today is the sins of America. And when you do that, you get people that don't love the country that they're supposed to defend, and they don't understand first freedoms like freedom of speech. And they don't realize the fact that the least tolerant people in the conversation are the so-called tolerant left, which is actually completely fixated on only one side of the conversation. So thank God we have President Trump. They're going to try to do everything they can to tear him down before the election. But we've got to take back our culture and our education. That's where we're losing this.
Army Secretary General Ryan McCarthy says he's open to renaming military bases which had been named after Confederate generals. The president says he won't consider it. Where do you stand on this? You're a military guy. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, the Army Secretary is wrong, dead wrong. I am with the president on this. Listen, I've trained at Fort Benning, Georgia. At the time, I didn't realize who Benning was and what his military background was. The reality is erasing your history doesn't make it any better. The only way you learn from it is from understanding what happened, why it happened, how we changed it, and moving forward. Of course, the reason for renaming bases after Confederate generals was part of sort of rebuilding our nation and creating solidarity after a civil war that was incredibly bloody. And again, by teaching about the Confederacy, by teaching about the Civil War that we had, what it took to free the slaves, we are educating the next generation about what America's had to go through to get to a place where we're the most free, most tolerant, most diverse, most prosperous country in human history. But if you're staring at your device right in front of you in your Twitter feed all day long, you forget that. You take it for granted. So renaming bases is not going to solve anything, nothing. And when you cave to the mob, you just give them more you just give them more ammunition to try. Now, then they go after Paw Patrol. And what's next after that? Who knows?
I know what you're saying about Paw Patrol. I watch it with my grandchildren. You watch it with your young kids. It's a great show. All right, Pete. Thanks very much indeed. See you again soon. Always appreciated. Now, going to check the